3 alien temptresses. My picnic turns into a night of unbridled desire. The unexpected meeting. Ethan Chen pulled his aging sedan onto the grassy clearing, the headlights briefly illuminating the wildflowers that dotted the hillside meadow. This spot, 20 miles from the nearest town, offered the darkest skies he'd found in 3 years of astrophotography. Tonight's meteor shower promised to be spectacular. He grabbed his picnic basket and blanket, breathing in the sweet summer air. The sun had just dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in deep purples and oranges. As he crested the small hill, he froze. 3 figures sat in the clearing, 3 women unlike any he'd ever seen. Even in the fading light, their skin seemed to shimmer with subtle, otherworldly hues. The nearest had skin like polished jade, her hair a cascade of silver blue that caught the breeze. The second possessed skin reminiscent of twilight lavender, with copper curls framing gentle features. The third had skin deep as sapphire, her dark braids adorned with what looked like tiny glowing beads. They turned toward him in unison, and Ethan's breath caught. Their eyes held depths of intelligence and curiosity that transcended human expression. "Good evening," the jade-skinned woman said, her voice melodic with an accent he couldn't place. "We hope we're not intruding on your stargazing plans. I'm Zara. These are my companions, Myra and Talia." Ethan stood speechless for a moment before finding his voice. "I'm Ethan. Are you from around here?" Myra, the lavender-skinned woman, laughed, a sound like wind chimes. "Not exactly. Our vessel experienced technical difficulties. We've been stranded here for several weeks." "You mean?" Ethan's eyes widened. "Yes," Talia confirmed, her violet eyes twinkling. "We're not from Earth. Would you like to join us? We've been curious about human traditions, and a picnic under the stars seems perfectly suited to our situation." Cultural exchange. Ethan spread his blanket beside theirs, his hands trembling slightly as he unpacked cheese, bread, and strawberries. The 3 women watched with fascination, leaning closer to examine each item. "On our world of Astara, we have nothing quite like this," Zara explained, accepting a strawberry. She bit into it delicately, her eyes widening. "Oh, the sweetness is incredible. What do you eat on Astara?" Ethan asked, pouring wine into plastic cups. Myra reached into a small iridescent pouch and withdrew fruits that glowed faintly blue. "These are starfruit. They grow in our biodomes. They're nourishing and create a pleasant warmth." She offered one to Ethan. He accepted, noting how her fingers brushed his palm, soft and slightly cooler than human skin. The fruit tasted like honey mixed with mint, sending a gentle tingling through his body. "That's amazing." As the first stars emerged, Talia pointed upward. "That constellation, we see it from Astara too, though from a different angle. We call it the Lover's Bridge." "Here we call it Cygnus, the swan," Ethan replied, moving closer so she could follow his pointing finger. Her shoulder pressed against his, and he felt a subtle vibration, like a gentle hum of energy. The meteor shower began, streaks of light painting the darkening sky. Zara gasped with delight, grasping Ethan's hand spontaneously. "It's beautiful. On Astara, we celebrate connections under meteor showers. It's believed they carry wishes between souls." Myra settled on his other side, her warmth radiating through the cool evening air. "Tell us about human courtship, Ethan. How do your people express affection?" Ethan felt his cheeks warm. "Well, we usually start slowly. Getting to know each other. Maybe holding hands, like this." He squeezed Zara's hand gently. "And then?" Talia asked, her voice dropping to a curious whisper. "Then, if the connection grows, maybe a kiss." Growing connection. The night deepened around them, the Milky Way emerging in brilliant clarity. The wine and starfruit had created a pleasant haze, lowering inhibitions and heightening awareness. Ethan found himself lying back on the blanket, Zara's head resting on his shoulder while Myra traced idle patterns on his arm. "On Astara," Myra murmured, "we don't restrict affection to pairs. When connection is genuine, we celebrate it however it manifests." Her amber eyes met his. "Does that frighten you?" Ethan's heart raced. No. It's different. But not frightening. Talia lay on his other side, her breath warm against his neck. You're trembling. Are you cold? No, he whispered. Nervous. Maybe. I've never. This is all very new. Zara lifted her head, her face inches from his. The bioluminescent patterns on her skin pulsed gently. May I show you how we kiss on Astara? He nodded, unable to speak. She leaned in slowly, giving him time to pull away. When her lips met his, they were soft and warm, tasting of starfruit and wine. The kiss was tender, exploratory, filled with question marks rather than demands. When she pulled back, Myra was watching with soft eyes. Beautiful, she whispered. May I? Ethan turned toward her, and her kiss was different, deeper, more assured, her hand cupping his cheek. He felt Talia's fingers threading through his hair, her lips brushing his temple. Time seemed to dissolve. They moved together in gentle harmony, kisses and caresses, whispered words in English and the musical language of Astara. Zara's hands explored his chest, Myra's fingers traced his jawline, Talia's breath mingled with his as they shared slow, passionate kisses. A night to remember. The meteor shower reached its peak, the sky ablaze with streaking lights. Ethan felt like he was floating, wrapped in warmth and affection from 3 directions. The boundaries between them seemed to blur in the starlight. In Asteran tradition, Zara whispered against his ear, when souls align under falling stars, we perform a bonding ritual. It's about opening your heart completely, sharing energy and intention. Myra sat up, her lavender skin glowing softly. We sit in a circle, hands joined, and speak our truths. Would you try this with us, Ethan? He nodded, sitting up. They formed a small circle on the blanket, knees touching, hands clasped. The physical contact created a circuit of warmth that seemed to pulse between them. I'll start, Talia said, her violet eyes reflecting starlight. I feel gratitude. For weeks, we've been alone and afraid. Tonight, for the first time, I feel seen. Connected. Ethan, you've given us something precious, acceptance without fear. Ethan's throat tightened. I feel wonder. And privilege. You trusted me with your truth, your presence. I've spent years photographing the stars, feeling small and alone. Tonight, I feel like I'm part of something vast and beautiful. Myra squeezed his hand. I feel desire, not just physical, though that's present too. I desire to know you deeper, to understand what makes you laugh, what you dream about, what scares you. Zara's eyes shimmered with emotion. I feel hope. That perhaps being stranded here wasn't a tragedy but a gift. That connections can form across worlds, that love isn't bound by species or convention. They sat in silence, the energy between them building. Then, as if by unspoken agreement, they moved together. Gentle embraces became more passionate. Tender kisses deepened. They moved as one, finding rhythm and harmony beneath the infinite sky. The blanket became their universe, their sanctuary. Whispered endearments mixed with soft laughter and sighs of contentment. They explored each other with reverence and growing confidence. Dawn of a new beginning. Dawn painted the eastern sky in shades of rose and gold. Ethan woke slowly, wrapped in warmth, 3 bodies curved around his. Zara's head rested on his chest, Myra's arm draped across his waist, Talia's fingers still intertwined with his. For a moment, he wondered if it had all been a dream, the most vivid, beautiful dream of his life. Then Zara stirred, lifting her head to smile at him. Good morning, she murmured, her voice husky with sleep. It really happened, he whispered. Myra stretched, her copper curls catching the early light. Did you think it wouldn't? Talia propped herself up on one elbow. Do you regret it? No, Ethan said quickly, emphatically. Last night was. I don't have words. But what happens now? You said your ship is damaged. Zara sat up, pulling the blanket around her shoulders. We've been working on repairs. Another week, perhaps 2, and we'll have to leave. The words hit Ethan like a physical blow. Oh. But, Myra added quickly, touching his face, Astara isn't so far that we can't return. And our people, they're curious about Earth now. Cultural exchange programs are being discussed. Talia kissed his forehead gently. What we shared last night, it wasn't just physical pleasure or curiosity. It was real connection. That doesn't end when we board our ship. Ethan felt tears prick his eyes. I don't want to lose you. Any of you. Then don't, Zara said simply. Come with us sometimes. Let us return to you. Build something new, a bridge between worlds that starts with 4 hearts that chose to open. They sat together as the sun rose fully, making plans and promises. They would meet here every clear night until the ship was repaired. Ethan would document their time together, create a record of this unprecedented connection. And when they left, it would be with the understanding that this was a beginning, not an ending. As they finally packed up the blanket, Myra turned to Ethan. Thank you for not being afraid of something different. Thank you, he replied, for showing me that love doesn't have limits, only the ones we impose ourselves. They kissed goodbye beneath the morning star, for souls forever changed by one magical night. Lessons from the stars. True connection transcends all boundaries, of world, convention, and expectation. When we open our hearts without fear, we discover that love is infinite. The most profound intimacy begins with vulnerability. When we share our authentic selves, we create space for others to do the same. Every encounter holds potential for transformation. Approach each moment with curiosity rather than judgment, and magic becomes possible. Love multiplies rather than divides. When we release possessiveness and embrace generosity of spirit, we find that affection shared among many can be as deep as devotion between two.